All right, man. Welcome to the Heavy Scroll. My name is Matt. I'd like to get to know you personally. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you guys from?
So originally everybody was from Pocosin, Virginia, but then of course we've had like revolving doors of people and stuff like that. People come and go. I think this has been going on for 5 years and some change.
Wow.
So now we got like Pocosin, Virginia, Gloucester, Virginia, Newport News, and then like another member down in Chesapeake.
Wow. So did you guys all just move together, or does everyone just travel to go play shows with you?
We travel.
Nice.
So like
So,
we usually we'll either practice here or at our drummers, and we go back and forth because he's the one who lives in Chesapeake,
oh, okay.
so he's like a good like 45 minutes away if there's no traffic. But if there's traffic with the tunnels, it's probably gonna be like an hour.
It definitely could be a lot worse.
Oh yeah, the tunnels are hell though.
So
Like for
what?
some reason, the moment somebody drives into the tunnel, they forget how to drive. I don't understand it. I'm like, there's signs saying keep your speed.
Right. But
People just hit the brake.
I mean, you are in a punk band. You don't really live by the rules.
No, to an extent.
So what first got you into music, man?
I would say I've always been in the rock, but I definitely started more in like the rap hip hop,
Really?
which is surprising to some people.
That's
To
very
me,
surprising.
I liked it, but it's like so growing up, like my grandfather, he'd be listening to like Queen and like Boston and Journey and stuff. You know, more like family friendly rock and roll
Definitely.
stuff like that. And then my mom, she would listen to like I guess like the 80s and 90s rebellious rock. So it would be like Nirvana, Alice in Chains, but also like Guns N' Roses and AC/DC and stuff like that. But
Oh
then
yeah.
when my stepdad came into the picture, he was the one who brought in like Metallica, Black Sabbath, and stuff like that.
I mean,
And then they just carried on from there. But my mom also listened to like she was a huge Tupac fan. So she don't have a CD player anymore, but I went out of my way and bought me a CD player for my bedroom, and she gave me all of her Tupac albums.
damn.
It's like the first handful of what he came out with.
That also
So like
like his
her,
first stuff was great.
oh yeah, so like I have a few of his first albums, like the first couple ones, like just the original CDs from my mom, and then she was like, you keep them, you'll listen to them more than I will." But then, like, I'm a huge fan of Digital Underground and like MF Doom.
Oh yeah.
I just like the lyrical style that MF Doom is, and that's one thing. If you listen to a lot of our music, we got a handful of songs where there's just no chorus. It's just a verse of after a verse after a verse.
That's kind of what MF Doom was known for, is just being
Yeah, so you see where I took the inspiration there from.
yeah.
It's
And
like between the verses, I'll do a little bit of instrumental stuff
right. That actually
instead of a
goes along
chorus.
to my next question is like who inspired you to start creating music? Like who was the main influence?
I would say halfway through high school, I've always I got that's when I started getting into more of the alternative punk, grunge, etc. type genres. But I would say I was one of those cringy kids who would sit in front of the computer with a rap beat and then just write lyrics over it. I look back at that stuff, I'm like, what the fuck was I writing? This is so bad.
There's nothing wrong with that. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah. But then it just so I would say definitely Linkin Park was a big one I liked growing up.
Speaking of Linkin Park, do you
It's
like the
like
new
new
record?
metal, huh?
Speaking of Linkin Park, do you like the new record?
I haven't listened to the new record, but I heard that one song that came out.
Right.
It sounds to me like old Linkin Park. Like I think it's okay. It just they should have just started another band,
I
in my
agree.
opinion.
Yeah, like I think they should have changed the name cuz but if you can take Chester out of it and just imagine it as a whole different band, I think it's pretty solid stuff.
But it's like I'm also one of those people where a lot of people like if like that like this one member, like the guitarist, is out of the band, people don't care. They're like, oh, they're still the so and so's.
Right.
But like the moment, for some reason, when the vocalist is like kicked out, died, something, that's when it's not the same band anymore. I'm
Right.
like, to me, it's the same thing as like the drummer leaving or like the bassist leaving.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just someone's new on the instrument, and vocals is the instrument they play.
So you mentioned that you used to do lyrics to old rap beats and Linkin
It
Park
just
as
rap beats I
inspiration.
find on like YouTube.
Man, when I play guitar, when I first started like doing this thing, I would just find drum beats on YouTube and just play along to those because I didn't have another way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the easiest way to do it for me.
So it's funny. My first instrument that when I was starting to get more into the rock aspect, I was wanting to learn everything just so I could write my own music because I got tired of asking friends and then they not show up and stuff like that, and
Right.
they couldn't do what I was trying to like describe. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself. Let me teach. So I taught myself everything. So when I first started off, about 10 years ago now, I started on drums. I think like roughly like maybe 8, 7 years ago, I started on drums. And then the way I started on that is playing drumless tracks from Rock Band 4.
Wow.
And then I just learned what color and what shape went to what cymbal and what drum. And so I'd play it on an actual drum set.
Okay, so
And then
you
just
just played your
follow.
drums along to the drumless tracks on Rock Band and just learned
Yeah.
everything from there.
So I just set up my phone like on like a little table or like one of those phone holders for like a mic stand or something.
Yeah.
Like I just hooked it up to one of my cymbal stands, and then I have like Bluetooth headphones on, and then I'll just follow the track, and then that's how I learned how to drum and stuff like that. So I went from that, and then I would say 5 or 6 years ago now is when I picked up guitar, and surprisingly, that took me about a week to understand.
Okay. That's a
I was
very
up
interesting
in
process. Like I never thought about doing that. Like that's so cool to me that you just started drumming along to drumless Rock Band tracks.
I was like, I didn't understand. Like, it just came to me. And it was like, hey, this. I feel like this is probably the easiest way I can learn without like learning how to read sheet music.
Right. I mean, it's very visual. It's very straight to the
Uh,
point.
yeah, and it was like it's easy to keep up with it because if it's a song I know how fast it goes, and I just
Right,
got to
right,
follow the dots, the circles, and the rectangles when they came down.
right. So you're in a band called Alpha. Is it Alpha or Alpha the Punk Band? Because on Spotify it just says Alpha the Punk Band.
Apparently, there's like a jazz band or something like that called Alpha, or another organization called Alpha. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just put Alpha the Punk Band.
I dig it, man.
So I'm cool with that. I feel like it makes it easier to find too, just
Right,
adding another word behind it. Because you know, like on our Facebook and Instagram, you have to search up Alpha Band.
right. I
Because I
completely
know
understand.
locally here, I found out after we decided to call the band Alpha. There's a music store in Virginia Beach called Alpha Music.
Oh shit.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny. So what is your guys' creative process like? Do you guys start with a riff and go from there or
I would say I am the most. I'm the. I if I can speak, I have a bad stutter.
no, it's all right.
I do most of the writing predominantly. Usually, I'll just think of a riff and write lyrics to the riff, and then I'll throw what I have to the other guys and let them throw their own shit on it.
That's a
Let
really
them
cool
do
way to
their
do
own
it.
stuff. Because I don't like it with being told what to do, so I don't want to tell the other guys what to do.
So you just kind of give them an idea and then they just have their own twist for it.
Yeah, basically, like here's like I'm just laying down the foundation,
Yeah,
and then you
that's
guys build your walls, build your roofs to it.
so you play guitar and do vocals, correct?
Yes.
How long have you been playing like total?
For guitar, I've been playing about 5 or 6 years, which is about the same age as the band.
Was it really hard for you to do vocals and guitar at the same time at first?
No, it just came naturally.
Nice. Nice.
I felt like because I had like a little first set guitar, it's about as long as my arm. It wasn't big at all. It looked like an oversized ukulele, if anything.
Right.
And I put real guitar strings, so it went out of tune constantly. But that's why I started learning guitar on, and I brought that up to the mountains because I go to the Highlander games in North Carolina
That's
at
so cool.
the Grandfather Mountain Highlander games. And I brought that up one year, and then I had another buddy up there who was like, "No, I'm gonna show you how to play Hallelujah." And then I'm happy they did that. As much as I don't really like, I'm not the biggest fan of the song. It's a sweet song, but it's like it had a shit ton of chords in there.
Right.
So I learned like actual chords first. So that helped a lot with just where to put the fingers and stuff. And then eventually it took me another year or two to figure out like, oh, there's power chords.
Right.
You're telling me the whole time I could just be doing this? Act like I know what I'm doing?
Right. So what's your gear? Like what guitars or amps do you use?
So I use a Behringer V-Tone head with a Line 6 speaker.
Okay.
And then I have a few different guitars I use. I have the Alpha guitar, which is a Gibson no, it's a Epiphone Explorer.
Okay.
And then I added skulls to the fretboard. And then I had a decal made with our band logo and the Cyanide Jesus logo under it.
Oh,
It goes on
nice.
the side. So it looks smooth. I love it. And then I took out the knobs and put on skull knobs. Put like ruby eyes. I'm like, that looks cool.
Okay. I
It's like
just
even like when drawing in school, it's like skulls. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do that cringy badass stuff. Skulls everywhere.
man, skulls just growing up were just the most badass thing on the planet. Cause like I just want to put a skull on everything. I had a
I
coffee
mean, for
mug. I just
some
throw a
reason, it
skull
just
on
makes
it.
it look more badass to
Right.
me.
Right.
But then my main guitar I use in a lot of shows is I have it right here actually. It is I found this in a trash pile in Hampton, and it was yellow when I first picked it up and in two pieces.
Okay.
But when we cleaned it up, then we found out it's a black guitar, and it is a first act.
Okay.
So I was like I like the shape of the headstock and I like the shape of the body because it was a little bit shrunk and more wide,
Right. Right.
different. But then my buddy Larry, who was our bassist for a while, he was like, "You want me to do like the paint job and stuff too?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, go right ahead, have at it. Let's have fun with this. Let's mess around with it." It's just something I found in the trash pile. I didn't expect it like to stay.
Right.
But then he cleaned it up, and he's like, "The guitar is black, and like 95% of the guitar is made out of wood filler." I'm like, "Oh, nice." So he did like he did some sanding and stuff like that, and he gave it like a rustic finish. And then I went ahead and just decorated the hell out of it
That
my
is
way.
sick. Holy
And then
shit.
I took the tone knob out and just put in a button. So there's no tone knob; it's just a kill switch button, like a video game button.
That's cool as shit.
And then I used an extra skull that I had and just used that for volume. And then I got bored one day and I took a staple gun to it because I could. And then I just went with it.
Why the hell not?
Got stuff there, stuff along the side. And
Damn.
then I got this little thing I did on the back.
That is a relic, my friend.
I think it's pretty neat. It's definitely a one of a kind type thing. And plus, we break shit on the regular at shows. And then all the tuning knobs on the guitar are different. They're from different guitars I've smashed from different
That's
shows.
fucking sick.
And it surprisingly holds tune very well.
Really? What tuning do you guys normally play in? Just standard E?
E standard, drop D when we feel like getting a little angsty.
Right, right.
We're like, all right, we're getting a little bit edgy tonight. We're dropping our guitars.
There you go. So what's your favorite song to perform that you guys wrote?
My favorite um, right now is going to be Uncle Scam Needs You or
That
It's
was
on My
the Uncle Scam Needs You was the very first song I heard from you guys.
That's probably my personal favorite at the moment.
It's really good. I mean, like you guys have such a what it reminds me of is like a mix between the Danzig era and the Michael Graves era of the Misfits.
Where Misfits is definitely a huge, huge inspiration.
And I love it. I also heard some of your Redbeard stuff.
Oh, the acoustic stuff.
Yeah, you're really good, dude.
Gracias, gracias.
I love the. I seen a video on your Facebook. Um, you're a like one thing I've never known how to do is whistle. Your whistling is top notch.
I've had people tell me that, like,
It's beautiful, man.
apparently a lot of people can't do like the vibrato in whistling and stuff. I'm like, it's easy to me.
I've never learned. That's all I got. I can't do shit. Amazing. So
It's like
what keeps you motivated, man? What keeps you
I
motivated to
think
keep playing?
I think it's just the artistic drive.
For sure.
Because I've played the full packed out rooms, and I've played like to like we're the only people there. Like I've traveled 2-3 hours away just to play to like only us, and maybe like the only other band there. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's upsetting and depressing sometimes, but I'm like, at the end of the night, end of the day, if anything, that was just a practice.
I mean,
That's the way I try to keep it.
you're still doing what you love to do, regardless.
Exactly. It's like I don't care if like if it goes nowhere, I can at least say I did it, and then I at least have like stories.
Right.
I could be that one old guy in the senior center who's just spitting out random stories, and they'll be like, "The fuck is he talking about?"
I want to see you in like a nursing home in the future, just like with your old rap beats, just rapping along. It'd be the sickest shit ever. It'd be punk as hell too. If you could describe yourselves with one word, what would it be?
I could describe myself with one word.
Or the band, or you, or just describe
Okay.
in one word.
With the band, I would say fun.
Okay.
Definitely fun because I try to bring that. I feel like that's missing in a lot of live music, locally and
Absolutely.
nationally. It's just I feel like it's just people take it too serious now. It's like it needs a little bit more like fun.
I
It's like
agree.
you need to get people moving. It's like I don't want to pay like $25 or even like $50 just to see someone just stand there
Right. Yeah,
and stuff.
it's always a bummer when you pay like a big ticket price for someone and either the band was super boring like performing live or you met them after the show and they were total assholes. It's like,
Yeah,
what the heck,
like,
man?
it's like I try my best. Like, look, if you're nice to me, I'm gonna be hella nice to you
Right.
because I don't see a reason to go out there and be the asshole. There's
Right.
too many assholes out there to begin with.
Right.
Like, don't I got my fair share of like beefs and stuff with some people. Like, I mean, but who doesn't?
Right.
But it's like I'm not. It's not a goal. I don't wake up in the morning and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna piss this dude off.
Right.
I'm gonna go piss this many people off." I was like, "No, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I gotta go to work. Let me like try at least be that one nice guy. Like, just try to be funny too. Try to like make a joke, crack a joke here and there.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
I'll have to go back and watch some of your guys' live performances. I've been pretty busy. I haven't really had I listened to your stuff on Spotify, but I haven't really gotten into and watched because I seen you had some full live sets posted on YouTube too.
we did, yeah. We have some. It's like I try to keep the stage banter thing a thing.
Right.
Because some bands are like they'll do like a monologue and it's like super serious, which I can understand. That's cool and all. I'll have some here and there, but then I'm like I like we'll just like riff off of each other. I think it was one show we did. It was a backyard show and we had our new bass player Larry finally left. He moved to Washington. He picked up a better job, so we waved him goodbye. He still helps us out with like mixing and mastering and some recording. So he's still like a member of the band, but without being there.
That was going to be another question is did you guys go to a studio to record your stuff or did you do it all yourself?
So we do it all ourselves.
Nice. That's the
So we go
awesome
to
way to
our
do it.
just different garages with different friends. We're like, all right, we're recording here today.
You just find random garages?
They're just friends. It was like,
Nice.
hey, can we borrow your garage for a minute?
What do you guys use to record?
We used a regular Focusrite.
Okay.
And when Larry was here, we used Reaper.
Nice.
And then he did all the special stuff. I'm
Okay.
not much of a tone snob, so he did all that, which is funny because usually guitarists are like tone snobs or like stuff like that. You know, but I'm like, if it goes dur, I'm happy.
Right, because usually like a lot of the punk bands I've seen is like, does it have a gain knob? Yes. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, it's like I've met so many people who just like who ask me about my equipment, and I'm like, dog, I don't fucking know. I'm like, it's just loud. That's all. It's like it works. That's all I care about.
So where can we find your music? Like I know it's on Spotify and YouTube. Is it anywhere else?
So I know we have it. I have it set up to just post to just about anywhere. I even think jokingly we're on Napster if that's still a thing.
I thought Lars killed that.
I don't remember. I thought he did too, but then it came up on our distro kid,
Damn.
and I'm like, holy shit, it still exists. I thought it was funny. I was like, yo, we're on Napster. But it's like we got that. We got just search up Alpha the Punk Band on just basically any site that does streaming.
Okay.
But we also got a Bandcamp,
I love
which I
Bandcamp,
believe
man. Bandcamp is
is,
such an awesome way to help like
oh, it's a great way. I love it.
and it's
I
also
think,
the easiest way a band can financially get their stuff out there.
oh yes.
Like merch, music, anything.
Like, I've been slacking on the merch. I'll be honest there.
I will say this, I love that hoodie because
Oh,
I am a huge Spawn fan.
so I got actually a pretty neat little story. So back in high school, I was supposed to be before I got into music and stuff. I was huge in like drawing, painting, just art in general.
Right.
So like Spawn means something to me just because of this whole thing that happened. So I would draw like Hellboy a lot and stuff, and like the Watchmen from the DC Comics.
Okay.
I would draw them constantly, and they got to the point where our school noticed, and then they were setting the guidance counselor were talking about, oh, what career field would you want to go in and stuff. I'm like, to be honest, I have no clue. And then she'll notice all the art and stuff. She's like, you really got something here. Like, do you like drawing? I'm like, I've always been into like comics and stuff like that, which I still am. I love comic books.
Right,
One
right.
of my first like jobs was like under the table, just working at a comic book shop here in town. Like I would walk from an hour from my house just to go sit at the comic book shop for like almost the whole fucking day.
That's awesome.
And then he didn't pay me in money most of the time, but he paid me in comic books. So I'd always come home with like new comic books to read. But then just draw and draw, and then it got to the point where senior beginning half of senior year, they scheduled a basically like somewhat like an interview type thing with Dark Horse Comics, and I thought this was badass.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is huge. I'm like, this is going to be crazy. So I had to go to this one building and wait in the lobby to have a meeting with I can't remember the person's name, but there was a lunchroom, and then lo and behold, Todd McFarlane was there,
Holy
and I was
shit.
like, holy shit! So I for like 15, 20 minutes, I had lunch with Todd McFarlane, and I'm like geeking the fuck out, and I'm like, that's Todd McFarlane.
That's a
And then
huge
that's why I
deal.
was like, you know what? I see some other local bands doing like Spider Man or like for their band logo, or like Batman for their or Ninja Turtles for their band logos and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I can't think of a single superhero we do, but then it clicked with me. The Spawn's eyes. I'm like, what if I just color them in and make it an A and then just
That's
put the
really
LTA?
cool.
So I'm like, bam, that's our superhero one.
That's
Spawn.
sick. So, do you have a website for this or for your
For
hoodies?
the hoodies,
Yeah.
we only did a pre-order.
Oh shit. Are you gonna do any more?
Maybe. We don't know yet.
Because I would love to have one.
I think it's mainly because legally, I'll say I gave them away.
Okay. I understand. I understand. Do you guys have any shows coming up?
At the moment, no, we're done for the year because we just got a whole new lineup, and I want people to enjoy the holidays with their families for
Right,
the
right.
most part. and then give us more time to learn everything, because we only learned like maybe like 9 songs, and then we're like, all right, we got these 2 shows, let's stick with the 9. And then that's what we did, because usually we'll have like maybe 20, 30 songs in our arsenal, and like we'll play like maybe like 3 shows that week, and then each show's a different set,
Right.
like different set of songs.
Okay.
Because I like to keep it all jumbled, because you don't want to like go see the band and it's the same set every single time.
You guys have a lot of songs too.
Yes, we got like over 100 songs.
Yeah, because I was going through your guys' stuff and looking through your albums, and I was just like, holy shit.
What's posted is only like a small fraction of what we actually have. The
I'm sure.
goal for 2025 is to get this grunge album out, and then we're doing a more silly like Vandals style punk album,
All right.
and then we are remaking our first 2 albums, Cyanide Jesus and White Home Suburbia.
Okay. You guys gonna go do the same thing, like record it yourself, or are you gonna do it actual like
Oh, we're
studio
doing
recording?
the same thing, doing it ourselves.
Hell yeah. Just gonna
I mean,
learn from the
shoot
mistakes
for
from
your
last time and
yeah. It's like we know what we're doing now, because
right.
when we first did Cyanide Jesus, we set up maybe one drum. We set up a microphone on the kick, and then we hung one microphone above the whole kit.
Oh, I've
And
done
then we're like,
that.
all right, let's do that. And I'm like, that works. So that's why the drums sound so like, I guess, raw.
I
Like it
dig
just sounds
that.
like
I
somebody
I
through a
really dig
microphone.
that sound though.
Like that's what it gives it, like a nostalgic sound
Very.
to it.
Especially for that
And
old
then
school punk.
yeah, and then but the only other problem we had with Cyanide Jesus is those that was originally those songs were not supposed to be on the album. Where it started album was originally the Cyanide Jesus album. But then
Okay.
those are brand new songs that we played at the time. And then we were all agreement like we should do these instead. So we were still writing them when we did the recording. So like we don't even play them that way.
Damn.
Like especially like today, we don't play a lot of those songs the way they're recorded. So like I think it feels better if we redid the album the way we actually play it live.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously things change. I know there's hundreds of
Yeah.
bands that they'll write a song and record it, and then you hear it, and then you hear them play it live, and it's not even close. I mean, it's better.
Yeah.
It's better, obviously better live than it was recorded. But it's like
But it's
they
like also of our like lead guitarists, we've had like a handful of lead guitarists, and I didn't want them to do what the last guitarist did.
right,
I'm like, if you want to do what they did, by all means, go ahead. But for the most part, this is where you have your paintbrush. This is where you add your touch.
right,
So do your own thing. It's like Larry, he'd go crazy on the bass, and like if you listen to the bass, it's like it's crazy shit. But then when Jacob stepped in, some people made jokes like, "You got big shoes to fill," and then some like, "Just do it. You're not Larry. You're
right.
Jacob. Just go for it." It's like this is your spot.
Yeah,
Like just do your own.
make it your own, man.
Exactly. It's like hell. I'm not even the original front man.
Really?
Yeah, I was the drummer. I wrote majority of the music, but I drummed.
Wow, that's it. Like it's always funny to me when I see like a band, like a drummer, and then I see him a couple of years later, and then that drummer is now the guitar player, or that drummer is now the bass player. It's just everyone
Yeah,
just rotates. It seems like.
but yeah, it's like originally I was the drummer, but then everyone left the band, and then I got other high school friends for once, not just people from like I barely knew, high school buddies to come in, and they were in it for like another year or two, and then Larry stayed until like this past June. He's been in the band since like 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Wow. So are
So
you
yeah,
and him, or are you the like actual like original, the only
yes,
one? Okay,
yes.
awesome.
Because originally I was trying to find a drummer and I couldn't find anybody to drum, but I'm like, I drum. I could find plenty of guitarists at the school. So there was just people at the school that I knew, but I wasn't like the biggest like friends with. I just knew them and talked to them here and there. And I was like, hey, I got some music I wrote if you want to be in a band. And they gave it a shot. We jammed for a bit and then they joined. And then same thing with the bass player was some dude I knew. And he was like, he plays guitar. I'm like, I'm looking for a bass player. He's like, I'll give it a shot. And I'm like, all right. And then that was us for a little bit.
Hell yeah.
So then when they left, It was me, Larry, and his friend Carter, and then I became good friends with him. I still talk to him here and there. He moved down to Florida and stuff. So like the album where it started was the basically where we would say we got our start with the second lineup, where I finally became frontman, and our buddy Carter came in and did drums, and Larry was on bass.
I think I heard that song where it started. It's you kind of it's definitely way more grunge heavy than punk heavy. It seemed like,
Yes,
and I really dig that.
and then it was at the time where I just wrote everything on acoustic. So to me, it sounded like if it sounded good on acoustic, it'll sound great on electric.
Right.
But now I was like, I could just picture the distortion in my head. So I'm like, I'm gonna write it on acoustic anyways. So I'm like, I got the rough idea.
Yeah. So, what's the future of Alpha look like to you?
I don't plan on stopping.
Right.
I don't think that's even an option. If anything, we might play not as much shows, but I don't plan on just stopping altogether.
Okay.
I plan on keeping this going as much as I can physically do it. We might change styles here and there or try something new here and there. Nothing hurts a little bit, like experiment with something.
Right. It's always fun.
I think right now we're going to keep doing our hardcore punk and just skate punk stuff, but add like a grunge song here and there. Like throw it somewhere in the middle so like it builds up to it, and then you got the grunge song, and then it pans back out.
It makes the shows way more interesting too if you start out with the hardcore punk and then you have, oh, here's a pretty mellow-ish grungy song.
Yeah. Another another funny thing is like when I first started out, it was mostly grunge, but as we kept going, you'll notice like we get a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to some of our stuff, like as the albums progress, especially in the Mental Corrosion album, like we got some heavy, a lot more heavier stuff on that album.
I
And
listened to a few tracks off that. It's you got some heavy stuff in there. I love a lot of the riffs you play, man.
thank you. But it's like I know, it's because when were first starting out, we didn't really play with a lot of the punks. We played with a majority of like the hardcore and deathcore kids.
Right.
Like they're the ones. Like we were trying to start off, and like a lot of the punks were like, "We don't know y'all." It's like we've never seen y'all, so we're not going to give y'all a shot. I'm like, I'm brand new. I'm like, I didn't know this shit was even happening. I live like an hour away from everybody, so I'm like, then ever since I've been going to shows whenever I can and stuff like that. But then the deathcore kids were like, "Hey, come over here, open for our show. Like, just
Yeah.
be the first man up." And we're like, "All right, cool." I mean, we suck, but I was like, they just kept letting us like open. Like we've opened for like even like today, they're like, there's some dudes in the deathcore scene who be like, "Yo, we want Alpha," because like I got to the point where we're punk and we're opening for like deathcore and hardcore. How the fuck can we make this work with our music? With the songs itself, I don't feel like we could. Just people could party still. But I was like, what if we started doing like WWE, ECW shit on stage?
No
So
way,
that's when I
dude.
started bringing in like this barbed wire stick I got from
Oh my god.
Philadelphia. And then we started bringing in like steel chairs with our band logo on it and like tables and stuff. I think from Violent Youth Fest, we did a table covered in thumbtacks.
This is some
And
GG
stuff.
Allen shit, dude.
So I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I got buddies who do like the underground wrestling stuff, and they taught me a few things here and there, like for safety, like how to take a bump and stuff like that, like how to fall without practically injuring yourself.
So you were the one going through the table?
First time, yes. Second time, I was getting a step stool because we were on flat ground. I wasn't. There was no stage. It was some dude's backyard.
Oh my
We laid
god.
down a tarp too to try to help keep it clean. We had two tarps. The first tarp was for the TV that broke. We had a box TV, like a '90s box TV. It was big as shit. And I was like, "All right, we're not starting this set till y'all break the TV." And then so we left like a pile of bricks right next to it. So like people started throwing the bricks, and then the big pop, like because the dust and shit from the big box TV.
Right, right.
They were like, "All right, that's when we start." We opened with a cab and just like, "All right, let's go."
God damn. See,
And
that's
then
why these
the
bands
second
wanted you to
time,
open up for them because your shows are fun.
and then the second tarp was for the thumbtack table because just to make it easier to pick out of the grass because the dude had dogs.
Okay.
It was like I don't want a dog to step on a thumbtack after
Right,
the show
right.
or something like that. Like, let's try to pick it up. So that's why I brought tarps. So it was like we laid it out. I went to go grab the step stool so I could jump off of it to give me some height, and then some dude like squatted down, and then another dude came up behind him and jumped over him for as leverage, and then went through the table first. I was kind of upset. I'm like, damn, y'all trying to ruin my plan here. I wore a white shirt and everything so people could see blood.
Oh my
So I
God.
just picked up the first person to my left, and I'm like, "Come here!" Like this video, I think there's still, and you can hear me just like, "Come here!" And I just pick his ass up and just throw him onto the thumbtacks. And then another dude walks up and was like, do me!" And I pick him up and throw him up. And then he gets up and like 5 people tackle me and throw me in the thumbtacks. It was pretty fun.
Oh my God. Did you get some thumbtacks in places you didn't want?
Surprisingly, no.
Damn.
But I thought it was funny. Like for a month straight, it was just people posting on Instagram in like a thread of thumbtacks in the shoes. And I
Fuck.
thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I love wrestling. I loved watching old ECW stuff. I'm a huge Mick Foley fan.
I love Mick Foley.
Oh my God. He's one dude I would love to meet.
Same. I almost had the chance. I was at a WWE event and he was in like I think like the hallways doing like signings or something. But my
Nice.
mom didn't want to lose the seat, so we just didn't go.
Nice. So
I thought it was really cool.
do you have like a final message you want to give people to introduce like your band or
Uh, I hope you like us. If you don't, that's cool.
I mean, I'm sure people will love I love it.
I feel like we're a better live band than a recorded band, in all honesty.
yeah, and
So I feel like if you listen to us, that's just a smidge of what we do.
keep me updated for your shows because
Oh, sure.
I wanna help get you out there. I really do. I
I
think
appreciate it.
this is going to be a really cool thing. It's a new thing I'm doing, and I just think it's a lot of fun. I love finding new music. I love listening to new music.
See, we love traveling. We love writing the music. We love like this one thing I am very grateful with and love about doing the music is the traveling aspect.
Right,
I don't think I would have like stepped foot out of this town or this area if it wasn't for the music. I don't think I would have ever been to Philly. I don't think I would have ever been to West Virginia,
right.
Ohio, fucking Chicago, New York, and shit like that.
What's the
Um,
farthest you've traveled?
Chicago.
Okay.
That's the furthest I've ever traveled was to Chicago. I think New York's roughly the same distance.
What is the best show you've played so far?
Fuck, that's a hard one. That's a pretty hard one.
I was going
I
to say
think
that fucking wrestling show. That sounds nuts.
that was probably the most hardcore we've gone for a show. Because
Right.
usually we'll just pull out one weapon. Because I'll even ask venues beforehand, "Hey, you cool if I just beat the shit out of people?" Like if they say no, if it's a venue I like, I'm gonna respect. I'm
Right,
gonna
right.
respect and not hurt anybody. But I'm at least still beat the microphone on my face and like hop into the crowd and
Do you
mosh
bust
with them.
yourself open with the mic?
Yes, I like to believe I am the reason that the Riff House Pub has bought new mics
Because you
because
just
they had
destroyed them with
one
your
mic.
face.
They had one mic that was dented to all hell and it was grimy as shit. And it was just the one I used. It ended up having edges eventually where I'll use that and I'm like, all right, cool, it busts me open quicker. Now I think I've taken a chair shot to the head once and then I instantly regretted that because I got dizzy as fuck.
You know that causes CTE, brother.
Yes, I do.
All
People
right,
liked
man.
it. That's all that matters.
I really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with me, man. This has been awesome.
I thought this was fun.
What song do you want me to play at the end here? Do you want us to do
Uh,
Uncle Scam?
you know what? Fuck it. Do Uncle Scam.
Hell yes, dude. I really appreciate it. This is Uncle Scam by Alpha the Punk Band.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, dude.
No problem.
Peace, brother.
You take care.
You too.